Welcome everyone to Event Planners Talk here at ITB Berlin 2019. Today's topic is over-tourism and the MICE industry, looking for solutions. Over-tourism is a huge topic nowadays in the travel industry, specifically on the leisure side, but we have realized that this topic is not discussed enough at the moment on the MICE side. So therefore we want to address this and look at the possible ways how the challenges can be solved. Because there are many popular destinations nowadays which receive groups, and there are less popular destinations which need these groups and the economic benefits that comes with MICE travel. So there is imbalance at the moment, and we want to look at possible ways to solve it. So I'm Marina Graf, I'm the founder of the MICE blog and the Event Planners Talk. And my blog focuses on MICE destinations and topics relevant for corporate event planners. And today I have three speakers with me from very different backgrounds. So Laura from Italy, Joël from Portugal, and Pauline from Ireland. And I would first let them introduce themselves, and then we go straight to the topic.
Hi, I'm Laura, and I come from, my company is called Italian Special Occasion, and I created this company with the idea to let people discover Italy in a completely different way, and not to go in the usual city, but try to knowledge them in what all Italy can offer. And so I revolve all the events toward the local culture, and that is my aim for the company.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, my name is Joel. I'm from Portugal. We have two companies, Lineup Events Factory, it's an events production company, one of the leading events company production in Portugal, and Portugal Incoming DMC.
Mm-hmm.
We are focusing MICE. We are considered a very creative and innovative company with the capacity to make big events. We are more focused on medium and big events, and events that the top brands nowadays they need high requirements, high technology, high productions.
Hi everyone, maybe before I talk, maybe Laura I can say again because it was very distracting with the piano. I couldn't concentrate. Again, what do you do once more?
Okay. I am organizing events and in Italy. And when I created the company, it was more like to create a company with to lead people to know Italy in a different way, and to organize events respecting the local culture and embracing the local culture. So not big conference and then go to Vatican, Colosseum, everyone, but diversify the offer towards different type of activities in the big city, but trying to spread the events in more unknown cities in Italy, which is not easy because most of the people don't know Italy, the real Italia, and but I believe in this project, so I am leading my client to choose other destination.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's very interesting. and my name is Pauline. I am a Polish-born entrepreneur based in Ireland. I used to be an event planner as well. I still do events, but right now myself and my team are launching a new venue sourcing platform with unknown destinations, very specific destinations, inspirational venues in Central and Eastern Europe, because we believe that that is needed, that is lacking in the market at the moment. What you were saying, Laura, about educating people and showing different alternatives, that is also very true with the spaces, with the venues, and that's what we at TurnedSee want to do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, and the first question, maybe we should first understand over-tourism and MICE. We understand what's the problematic with leisure travel. A lot of tourists staying for a short period of time, not spending a lot of money. But what's the problematic when it comes to MICE? So, Laura, I want to ask you this question.
Okay, I think leading events to organize events in the correct season in the ideal region, it would be a very good choice because then, for example, I'm talking about Barcelona. Let's not talk about only Italy. If you go to Barcelona in a high season, then you will really crash with a lot of tourism. And then experience the country in the correct way. Even though if you have to really have like in that period, you can diversify the activity and not give the solution to the same possibility. So diversify means like let's not to go to the torero things or do the flamenco or something like that, something which is different and is more locally Catalan, for example.
Okay, and now from you I want to ask Joel, because you've said Barcelona in high season, but the question is, does Barcelona have a high season or a low season? Because now it seems that every season is a high season, and that's where the problematic of over-tourism comes. And this question I want to ask you, because we just talked about it. Portugal and Lisbon, that there is no such a thing as a low season.
Lisbon and almost Lisbon, but Portugal as well. In the last years, it's become a very trendy destination. So naturally, it's become a bit more crowded. It's important to say that Lisbon is not yet an over-tourism destination. We have capacity to grow, but in fact, the question is to manage the leisure and the MICE. That cities need to think about in the tourism development what they want. Lisbon grew a lot about the last years with low costs, but in fact, MICE, it's a business that gives more money in tourism than leisure and low costs. The tourists, they come in MICE and events, they spend more money in the destination. So we can talk about a tourism of more quality and more profit as well. So we need to manage in that side. It's what my company is trying to do it. As well, countries like Portugal, Italy and Spain. Portugal is a small country with one of the best highways in the world. You can go to many different cities in 1 hour or 2 hours, many places to discover. Our companies have a job to present to our clients different solutions and different options.
And Pauline, we talked before, and it's something that you said about when leisure travelers come to a destination, they stay longer and they spend less. But when you compare it with the MICE travelers, who stay shorter and spend more. So can you tell more about this? Yeah.
Sure. So there are various reports that strongly suggest that MICE travelers, MICE tourists are much more valuable to the economy and they do have a much less impact on the environment. So for over-tourism, they're actually the best quality of travelers. Something that Joël mentioned as well. They use less resources, they spend much more money when they extend their stay and shopping activities. So yes, I do tend to agree that MICE travelers are the best quality of travelers, and that's why all the destinations are fighting for MICE tourism. At the same time, though, MICE is around 7% of all the tourism activity in the world. So we have another over 90,000 to account for. A lot of destinations or overcrowded destinations are now trying to push out a low-spending tourist by, let's say, structuring expensive cafes or restaurants around Eiffel Tower or Colosseum. But yeah.
We touched on, it was mentioned, educate the event planners. So how can you educate event planners and share the options available? Because some people, they just don't know that there are other options, destinations, because they want the most popular ones. So, for example, Laura, if you receive a request for a very popular destination in a high season, how do you react? What would be your first response to such a request?
Well, I had actually recently a request for Amalfi Coast in
Yeah.
July
Mm-hmm.
for 200 people.
Mhm.
And I say, I'm sorry, but it's going to be a nightmare
Mhm.
because they didn't know, they've never been to Amalfi Coast, so they don't know that the road is small and very kind of turning.
Mhm.
And in July, it's really a nightmare. So I wouldn't go myself to that place because you won't really enjoy.
Mhm.
So I really said, maybe July you can go to the north of Italy, which is beautiful. It's less crowded. Piemonte, Valle d'Aosta. Valle d'Aosta is an amazing region. It's a small one that have beautiful mountains and also historical village with Roman remains to visit, and one who knows that. So I'm trying to give them option, explain to them how to get there, what kind of infrastructure they can have. And I'm asking them also to change their requests because it's not only their offer that has to change, but also the request of events should really be more creative in a way without offense. It's really kind of making the people, if you decide to have an event outside you, it's because you anyway want to make people leave the country where you organize the events. So you really have to let them live truly.
And what is the
country.
reactions that you receive?
Well, I proposed them. They choose another country because it was like too expensive, and they didn't trust me. No, they did not. It's not like they don't trust me, but they don't know. They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know, and the fact that they don't know, it's really, you know.
So how do you make them know?
What I was saying, I think we have two missions there. One is from us companies. Perhaps we need to have better materials to promote that destinations, and we need to invest a bit on this.
The smaller destinations.
We are doing this, making videos of new places. And for the side, the government, the tourism boards, they need as well to make training for DMCs, because in case of Portugal, we have perhaps 10 events, DMCs, that really are creative, and they make different things. But in reality, 90% of the DMCs in Portugal, they are very traditional. They are 20 years selling the same, and they continue. They continue to doing that business because they are comfortable with this. And the question is that companies, the event planners, they need to find the right partners in the place that have the capacity to present them other things and to do it as well, not just present.
And technology is one of the ways to communicate these new innovative destinations and options. So what do you think is the role of technology?
First of all, we are here to assist event planners and DMCs and people promoting the destination. We are not here to take the business away from them, but to strengthen that. We promote venues that otherwise wouldn't have access to MICE buyers, or they don't know how to really sell because they don't have that much experience. So I think technology could be problematic in a sense. But if used in a responsible way, like what we're trying to do, it would be very easy for us to just add overcrowded destinations and do everything else and have a lot of business. But no, we decided that we have a mission, that we want to do it from a different angle, and we would like to participate in saving our planet in a way.
Yeah, I think it's very. I think social media has a very big responsibility.
Yes,
as well as us.
when you talk about technology, you say platform, well-designed platform, a tech platform, and we also touched on VR when we had our discussion.
Yes.
So maybe you can.
Because yes, VR is important, 360 is important. That's why we want most of our venues to have 360 site inspections in VR. But also, I think it works for very overcrowded destinations or destinations that cannot be visited due to political situations. That you can pop in a site of goggles and at least see or experience without going there how it is like. So yeah, augmented reality, virtual reality, but I think more for research rather than to substitute the experience.
Very good point. And Laura, from your point of view, you're a small business with small resources. And you use social media and blogging, so in what way, how do you use it? to educate your potential customers?
I share my knowledge of the country. Networking as well with venues that I work with, because sometimes, oh no, I'm not going to share. At the end of the day, it's a benefit for them, and it's going to be anyway turn around for everyone. I think networking is the success of everyone, and I think also the networking can be a very good solution to solve the problem of the tourism, because if everyone work together toward the same goal, then I think we have a solution.
And talking about small destinations with less developed infrastructure, Joël, how do you overcome the problem of lack of infrastructure in terms of flights, maybe railway, roads?
In case of Portugal and Lisbon?
You organize events in Portugal, but also abroad. So let's say you want to suggest a destination which is 3-hour drive from Lisbon.
The infrastructures are naturally very important. And when we talk about big events, usually they come just for 2 or 3 days or 4 days in maximum to a destination. So when we try to choose a venue or a place to put the group, if you want to put outside of the city center, it's very important to have a highway to that cities or train, but almost highway is very important because the clients want transfers directly to this. So it's very important. In our case in Portugal, we are very lucky with this because it's one of the problems that we are paying in the country, but we have really good roads for all the main cities, so we can do it in different ways. But the infrastructures.
And then we also, in our chat before, and we discussed about seasonal flights.
Yeah.
So, for example, you want to suggest Algarve.
Algarve, yes, one of the.
And they have flights in the summer, I believe, and then no.
Yes, in Portugal we have the South Algarve. It's a very famous spot for summer, okay? And we have big resorts, big hotels there. And after the peak season, that is the summer, they are almost empty. So it's a destination that we are really exploring for mice. It's just 1 hour, 2 hours and a half from Lisbon, but almost we need to come from Lisbon and then we need to transfer the clients to Algarve. They have from Europe. It's almost easy. They have some flights to Faro, but it's the government are trying to change this. They are trying to put in that destinations like Madeira as well. Madeira, the islands in Portugal, Madeira can be a really nice destination for mice. Algarve as well. Just need to have some more flights to there, and the government are managing to catch more flights to there.
And do you think that solutions like having a private charter could be a solution for?
Can be a solution. Sometimes it's a bit expensive.
Okay.
But from some groups until 150, sometimes we get.
Flights are crucial. They're absolutely crucial, and we all had experiences when we did suggest different destinations, and our clients loved them, but they couldn't just get there.
Sweden.
But this is important because when we choose a destination that is not capital like Lisbon, we can save money in the water. We can save money. The prices in that places are less expensive. So sometimes we need to balance. Okay, we'll have a solution about 3 nights in a really nice hotel facing with the ocean, amazing, and it's less expensive than in Lisbon in the peak season. So perhaps they have money to get the charter.
Yeah. Quality.
Very good. Any questions from the audience so far? Okay, so I have a question. So big destinations are associated as well with image. And how do you market a destination which no one never heard about? So for example, Pauline, you went to Derry a couple of months ago, and until you went there, I never heard about it. So how do you make a destination like this? By the way, Derry is in Ireland.
Yes, Northern Ireland, yes, and it has the biggest Halloween festival in the world, actually.
So I saw your updates, they were absolutely amazing. You had a lot of fun there, but how do you tell it to the client who never heard of this?
I really think that we are very lucky right now with the rise of social media,
Yeah.
and everybody can be an influencer and everybody can be a promoter. I wrote a blog post that was shared just this week about user-generated content. So the idea is that you allow normal, ordinary people to share stuff about you, but you track it down, you engage with them. This is one of the ways how Wild Atlantic Way in Ireland became such a popular activity. We had people tweeting about it and we were sharing that. And I really do think that, yes, you do need to spend money on professional videos as a destination, maybe hire a celebrity, that is all fine and well. But do not forget about ordinary users, user-generated content, activities, competitions, having them involved. They will promote you. And we have that possibility now with social media.
Good. And Joel, we spoke about suggesting alternatives. And we also spoke about sometimes we need to move from the what we want, but why we want this. So, for example, in one case, maybe Portugal might be not the right destination for the objectives of this event. So we need to go to the why and understand what the clients want to achieve. And maybe if they want to achieve a stronger message, maybe the top tier 1 destination is just not the solution. So you mentioned that you also work more internationally because you have repeating clients, and if 1 year they come to Lisbon, next year they want to work with you again, but they want to go to a different destination. So how do you go about it?
Yeah. When we talk about that kind of productions that are complex, to have the right partner, it's really important. And when a client works one time with a supplier like us, and all the things was fantastic, the client, it's not just about the destination. Okay? It's about the company that provide all integrated services and the full solution. So, and in fact, we can do it not just in Portugal. We can do it in any places. Of course, in Portugal, perhaps it's a bit more easy for us, but we are working nowadays a lot in Spain. We're working in countries of Portuguese language like Brazil, Macau as well. Mozambique, for example, it's a destination to discover. Beautiful, amazing. And we do this. We try to work. We have concepts about Portuguese language. So, in fact, Spain is not, but for us it's very close. And we need to get capacity to work this. In some places, we try to find some local DMCs as well, partners to work with us, and this is very important to find the right partners.
Okay.
And the concept of leisure, like combining business and leisure. Pauline, how do you go about it? So travelers, when they come to new countries, they do want to see the highlights because maybe just they're coming there just for first time and they're not planning to come there again, and they do want to tick the box of the highlights, take a picture. So how do you combine this tourist experience with the objective of overcoming over-tourism?
Sure. So let's say for example, if we do have a 3-day event, yes, let's put them in Kempinski at the Brandenburg Gate for one night, for one dinner, so they do have that experience. But why stay there all 3 nights? Another kind of cool thing that I always suggest to my clients is pick a hotel or a venue that has a 360 bar located at the top floor, and you do have that amazing view of the city, and you do feel that you're immersed without necessarily going there. I just think there are ways around it. Me, for example, myself in my personal life, I don't like to tick those boxes. It's overcrowded, I don't enjoy it, I would much rather see it from the distance, but that's just me. And there are a lot of people, like you rightly said, that want to tick the boxes. There are actually a lot of people now that go to a place just to take one photo without really even visiting it. And I think, who am I to judge? But
Okay, so now let's move slowly to the solutions. So I asked you beforehand to prepare 2 to 3 solutions for the problem, and Laura, maybe you can say your first one, and then we can move, and then we can develop the discussion.
Seasonality,
Yeah.
one solution. Knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and more quality tourism.
Okay. Joel.
In my case, I think the government
Mm-hmm.
need to start to promote and to help other destinations to be more visible,
Yeah.
and this is very, very important.
Okay. Government. Pauline?
It is all about the promotion.
Yeah.
And the money has to be allocated not just in the selling. Before we have sales, we have marketing and promotion. And yes, they are combined, but they are also opposite and different. So I believe anything can be positioned in the minds of customer or consumer to become a cool, visited place.
Okay.
Let me just
Yeah,
give
okay.
one note. Lisbon has won yesterday the award here in the ITB about the most sustainable destination. And when you talk about that awards, it's awards. For me means a bit,
Yeah.
but it means that that awards about sustainability and eco destinations.
Yeah.
It's a concept that really can put the people thinking in different ways.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is important for this, and the destination need to start to think smart destinations
Yeah.
and eco destinations, and this can change many things.
And just one point about government as well, because before we started this discussion, we had a little discussion between ourselves, and we said, how can we influence the government? But I do believe, I spoke with Laura, that even us, smaller agencies or smaller players, can write a letter to someone or do a meeting. So don't think that just because you're a smaller player, you don't have a say. I think all of us should assume a responsibility for our destinations.
Yeah. And you think the solutions should come also from the people booking the meetings? Because we are from a supplier side, and we also want that the planners also come to us with requests which are more sustainable, that people actually asking you, for example, can you suggest me a place which is not as crowded as Rome in August? Yeah, so that would be interesting transition, I think, and might actually happen in the next years.
Yeah, no, I had
Yeah.
a client actually that came back to me and say where I can go next,
Yeah.
but what you suggest. And I think it's more the question from the event planners
Yeah.
instead
Yeah.
to say,
Yeah.
I choose this, maybe
Yeah.
what you can
Yeah.
recommend
Mm-hmm.
for this type of event.
We talk about technology, but we all know we become aware about things online, but then we actually need this face-to-face, we need the experience. So would you, for example, would you suggest to your potential clients, after sending them all the material, would you then send them an itinerary and tell them, okay, come and I will show you? And does it happen?
It happened. I always propose, and I want them to come and do a satisfaction with me, and so I can show them what I wanted to offer them. And most of the time, it's great. They really live it, and then they're happy. So I'm happy because I want them to experience it. Yeah.
Good, Joel. Next solution, what would be your, after government, would be the next?
Next solution is we are talking about to have a good mix between leisure and MICE. Okay? We don't want, when we talked about to change destinations, don't need to be necessarily the MICE to change.
Yeah.
We need to promote more for leisure
Very
and for
true.
low cost
Yes, very
other
true.
destinations.
Yeah, very
Because we need to be realistic. The big cities, they have more conditions. In my case, for big events, better convention center. So we need that cities can't be not so crowded with leisure. The leisure, it's more easy to move leisure to other places. Right? So it's about this, and it depends one more time on the government. I don't like to put all the work in the government, but we do our job. We try to do the solutions. But the sound bites about promote the country and promote different destinations, it's impossible for a company to do it. It's promotion of the government. So
I'm making an example. Sorry, and you make a very good point. I make an example in Venice. The big cruises are coming
in Lisbon as well.
every time. Venice is a very small city. They go 3 hours, take a pictures, and they go away. It's a massive disaster for Venice. It's a massive disaster. Pollution. Locals, they say that Venetian are not nice, but obviously if you overcrowded the city, but it's also the companies, tour operators, they don't have to sell what they know, but they should start to sell what they don't know.
So it's getting out of the comfort zone, taking the time.
I think it's a lot of copy and paste approach as well with travel operators and online as well. People just take what's popular, they copy paste.
Yeah.
We, for example, at the platform, we spend our time with the venues and we design the content. And we don't care how much time it takes, because I really do think that bespoke content, involvement, and morality as well from big companies and big players to change their perception.
Totally agree.
It's a very difficult thing, because business is business, right? If there is a demand, there is supply.
But then we don't have any more authenticity in the countries if they spoil everything that they can.
Okay, so I really like this point. So also then shifting the leisure travel to also the smaller destinations and not the MICE travelers to the smaller destinations.
And there's a lot of destinations that need it. And
absolutely.
I had a meeting with Mallorca, and they're doing an amazing job of trying to put Palma not as a sunny destination, but with the big event venue that they have at the moment as a MICE destination. And it is working, it takes time, but that promotion.
Coming to this topic, corporate social responsibility, what are the advantages? What advantages that you propose to customers to integrate, to give back to the communities they come and where they stay, because they bring economic benefits? And what activities can customers groups do at a destination to leave a positive impact?
Visiting the city by bicycle, for example, and not using the bus, the big bus. The big bus give a lot of pollution to the city. And instead, if you use like bicycle or a walking things, it helps the traffic, it helps the environment, and it helps yourself, because you're going to be wealthy after a meeting.
And walking.
And walking, it's really nice. You will discover a lot of places.
Absolutely.
And this is an advantage comparing between some destinations, for example. If you go to Dubai, it's almost impossible to walk. It's not a destination for walk. But if you are in the city center of Lisbon, it's a city to walk, to enjoy, to feel, not in the car. So nowadays, it's the big bus. They can't go inside the city center. It was a rule. Not anymore allowed. Tuk-tuks and other kind of mobility. These or something, they should be electric. It's nowadays. It's like this.
We had a very cool initiative in Dublin, so companies could get involved in building parks for autism children, and they had to pay to be involved in that activity, and we had a lot of people coming over, taking part in that activity. It was a fun team building activity that actually left the country or the destination with something that people built. And for me, that is crucial.
Very nice.
It's very important to integrate corporate social responsibility.
Definitely. And walking, like Joel said, walking, bicycle, and I think also people discover more when they walk, right?
I just had a case study published on my blog about an incentive, and they chose two different venues on the same day, but they made sure that the delegates have to walk to different directions. So they had an afternoon activity in one direction, then they came back to the hotel, then they went to the other. And then the idea was actually to see more of the city.
There's so many amazing venues that are located at the cave or at the lake that you can see something, not just have an event close by.
Yeah. So now I really want to hear a little bit more practical ideas and case studies. So, Laura, can you share with us some interesting activities that you've done that actually support the local economies and solve the problematic of over-tourism?
Yes, I basically created a brand with my colleague that she's selling course in Italy. And this is called Creative Italy, and is inviting people to experience or to sign for a course where you can learn an handicraft job, which is very important to Italy because it's what make the Made in Italy very famous. So I'm talking about how to make the shoes, how to make waving the basket, which has like 100 years of tradition. How to make the wine with the enologist, so you understand what you're doing. But it's not something that is available online. It's available online as a knowledge, but you cannot book like this. You need to ask us information because you need to understand what you're going to do.
And it's also, we talked about it, and I know that there is also the language problematic, that some people who practice the old crafts, they don't speak English, and they definitely need someone, a local DMC, who understands the language and also understands how to approach them and really work on the terms of the artist. And it's not like, okay, we come 40 people, we are here, let's do an activity. It's not, the artists have to feel comfortable in sharing this craft, and
they need basically like people be a contributor to preserve this art without assaulting the artist in a way.
In our case, in Lisbon or outside of Lisbon, we always try to involve local small business, and to. For example, we have a team building. It's quite interesting. It can be made in Lisbon or in another place. What we do, we make a challenge, integrating small stores that sometimes people don't use so much, and they are not in the main streets. And we create a budget, and all the teams have a budget to manage. And that budget, they need to discover that local places, and they have like vouchers to they have a goal, and they need to buy something in that store. It's already paid by us, so we guarantee to that stores they will that afternoon they will win 500 euros. And the clients go there.
What do they sell in the stores?
Depends. Can be many things. Can be traditional things. Can be electrodomestic. Can be many things. Depends on the concept that we create. But it's we really try to involve all communities on this.
Good. And also get lost in the streets of Lisbon.
It's a really team building. People need to visit and they buy.
Yeah, it's interesting because you say about this team building, but I know that also sometimes there are team buildings with iPads,
It's city games. I was supposed to.
Yes, this is.
So you need to balance the technology and the traditional way of finding your ways into the city with a map.
It's very cool if anybody has ever done city games. It's very popular in Eastern Europe, certainly, and I've done a couple, and it is fantastic. You have certain times to spend in a shop, you have to move, you have to discover, you're learning, you're answering questions. My side from what we're trying to do, as I said before, we were an events management company. We were doing events and we wanted to do something for the industry. So just sticking to our kind of core mission, not giving in to the demands of very, very busy Western European destinations that want to be on the platform. That kind of mission over money.
I think it's very important to realize that destinations are developing, infrastructure is getting better, connectivity is getting better, and we are, through social media, we become more educated and we know about the options available. So we have the options to organize memorable events, to think a bit outside the box, and propose our clients to have unique experiences. And Laura, you said once, how can you organize something wow and amazing if you're not even ready to try something new? So yeah, the question was how to offer something new and innovative to clients. And then you said yes, if clients want something new and innovative, then they have to be ready to try something new and innovative. And this is a new destination. Yeah.
Open
So,
mindset
open
for everybody.
mindset,
Yeah.
Let me just put
Yeah.
more point. One of the most important things to is how we evaluate the success of tourism in a country.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is completely connected. For example, in last years in Portugal, the success was just number of beds sold. Okay, doesn't care if it's so. And this, what this means? This means that the government almost support the hotels to sell beds better. If you go to the Portuguese stand here in ITB, I'm sure that more than 80% that the companies that will be in the Portuguese stand, they are hotels. And this is something that needs to change because hotels is just hardware. Okay? It's not a hotel that sends a solution that we are talking here.
Yeah.
Okay? They just want to sell beds.
I don't agree, actually. So, I have a friend that they have a new kind of hotel concept, and they involve local people and local food and local art. So
Easy
it depends.
Things, easy things. If you want to integrate it, when we have a group for 5 days and they want something really different, it's not the hotel that provided kind of solutions. It's
Yes,
not.
but they can be a part.
Yeah, they are a part, and they are partners, and it's a very important part of the event. In our case, when it's big events, to have a base and to put them, it's very important.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about to sell, and when we are in a fair like this, trying to sell destinations, if the stand will be just hotels, they are selling the basic of the basic and the usual. Okay, so if the government and the destination want to sell new solutions, it's not hotels. There need to be more DMCs, more events on the stands, because it's that companies that have the capacity to make something different, something new, and integrate the hotel with new things.
Okay, so we are about to wrap up. If anyone has a question, feel free to ask, and I will ask from each one of you, like the last statement. What would you like everyone here today to leave with and think about? Laura?
I think we have a great responsibility towards our planet in a real way, because if we change the way tourism is a big thing in every country. It gives a lot to the country, to the local community, and we need. It's not. I always think it's not really important what you do, but the way you do it. So if we are in the tourism industry, we need to do it properly.
On my side, I think just to note that and give the advice to try to find the right partners, to try to find companies that have that capacity to think different, to propose different things, okay, and not think just about which is the water where I will stay. Okay.
And from my point, especially to all the destinations here, don't underestimate the era that we live in today. You have an amazing opportunity to re-educate young people. There's a lot of people that don't know what the Beatles are. Things that are important or known or famous to you are not necessarily famous to people who are 15 years old. So we have an opportunity to change their mindset and maybe make a small city in North Italy as important as the Colosseum.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.